All right, welcome back to the Block Runners Captain's Log, I guess. This is
With that name.
another
Let's go with it.
another run of what's going on in crypto here. Let me share my screen real quick. And here we go. So first up, look at that Bitcoin price, dude. So we're looking at so yesterday we were talking about how Bitcoin was probably going to trade between 30,000 and 35,000. And we were way off, dude.
Or basically, well, yeah, we're expecting that, or at least at the minimum, stay within the range of these meme lines that you drew up, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we recognize that Bitcoin's coming off an 8 to 9 month bull run of like no corrections in between, right?
Yeah, let me pull back here.
Yeah, so
this is
it felt like there was a correction needed at some point, you know. But yeah, we're currently testing this resistance line you drew up.
Yeah, and so we were kind of comparing this little dip that we saw, this 25% dip, to what occurred in 2017, where we had several of these dips occur. And like this one here is around 35%. This one took 60 days and it went to 40% losses on its way to $20,000, right? And so we're speculating that but this happened towards the end of the year, right? This is March, dude. March 2017, and then it was June. And so we're on track, dude.
Well, yeah, but the point is, like, see, those earlier corrections were happening in the earlier phase of the last bull cycle, you know, and the corrections were a healthy indicator that, you know, it's semi-organic growth, you know, not so much retail euphoria driving up the prices, right? Towards the tail end of this cycle, you can see it right there, starting from like about where your marker is till the 20K mark.
Yeah.
It wasn't much correct. Like that's what we're seeing right now. If Bitcoin breaks through, you know, that resistance line, these little V-shaped recoveries, you know,
I don't know, man. This is pretty
not much consolidation.
This is pretty parabolic. I don't see a whole lot of. Well, I guess.
Oh, this looks way more natural to me. You know.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Bitcoin hit like around 3,000 when things started taking off like unnaturally.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I suppose.
So all I'm saying is I think it's a little too early for Bitcoin to be making these parabolic run-ups and, yeah, like I'm saying, these V-shaped recoveries where there's not much resistance, right? It has no trouble breaking through. There's no consolidation. There's no actual, like, support being built.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's too early. I want to see it consolidate a lot more and to build like a healthier track, you know, for the year ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
It just blows right through this resistance and. I mean, to me, like it's already like we're in a tail phase of like a blow off top, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
To me, that's what it looks like.
But. Yeah, man. My bet is that it's gonna go down and it's gonna consolidate, like you're saying. But if it does, man, the only thing that we can point to as the culprit for doing this is like institutional interest. They don't really care if it's 35,000 or 45,000. They just care about getting in.
Yeah, potentially, man. Yeah, it could be like that the super cycle that we've been hearing about, you know.
Yeah,
it's probably not wise to look back to 2017 as like a reference point if that's the case.
Yeah, I think so too.
But if that's the case, then this thing is gonna pop sooner than we think, and yeah, who knows what the after effects look like.
Yeah. All right, so in other news, multi-trillion-dollar stimulus hopes boost Bitcoin. So looks like our future President Biden is looking to launch a 1.5 trillion stimulus plan.
Dude, Biden bucks, dude. They're coming too.
Yeah. So he's expecting to make an announcement at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time tonight on whether this is going to go through, which it likely will, because he's got no resistance in government now. So
exactly. Yeah, and it kind of like supports his whole campaign run, I guess. you know.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So what this means for crypto, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think now that the sentiment is a lot different than what it was previously, you're definitely going to see a lot more money getting injected into the market for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's. I think that's what's going to happen. I think this is part of the reason why prices are going up at the moment, just because of this announcement that it's probably going to get pushed through. But it's saying here that a lot of people are just dumping their dollars for other assets like stocks.
Mm. Yeah, well, stocks are also on a rampage, you know.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Pretty much everything is like it's hard to find an asset class that isn't performing well right now, you know.
Which is scary.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. I don't think it's unprecedented bullishness for the markets.
Yeah.
So
All
what
right.
that means, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see soon. But an interesting update with Bitcoin Core just got a major upgrade. And so it looks like two things occurred. So among the most significant changes in Bitcoin Core is the introduction of Descriptor wallets. And so this traditional wallets require private keys to move Bitcoin. Descriptor wallets instead require scripts, which provide more flexibility to the back end. And so this developer, he says that working on Bitcoin Core has proposed that the legacy wallets will be fully removed and replaced with Descriptor wallets in 2023. So I think the last time we heard of a Bitcoin Core upgrade was SegWit, and that was in 2017, and that's when I think Bitcoin Cash split, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
That's whenever there was an actual fork, I guess, in the community.
Yeah.
They didn't agree with that. I think that was like the last major update that we heard of that got like actual media attention and whatnot. There's no way they're not like quietly pushing out like little updates here and there, right? Over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Sure they were, but it's good to know though that like I guess there is a community of developers still pushing updates to this thing, even though it seems like complete dinosaur tech. Like they're still trying to work on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dinosaur tech or not.
Ultimately, I don't think any of this has any impact on the price of Bitcoin.
No, absolutely not.
All.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think anybody who's speculating on like the future valuation of the asset actually like even considers what the tech means.
Yeah.
Nobody understands the tech. Nobody really cares about these tech upgrades. It's still you got to be mindful of it.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's important to the sense that if Bitcoin is as big as we all think it's going to get, and we're talking about a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin, I think any update is significant. Just because any update brings in potential holes, like if everything has to transition over to like script wallets instead of private key wallets, and then there's a vulnerability to these script wallets, which I'm sure we would be able to see the vulnerability way before it's actually getting implemented, just because everybody's looking at the Bitcoin code. Anyone who cares enough, who's technical enough, is looking at it, and they'll be able to figure out whether there's a hole here or not.
So what do you think? Do you think it's what's the wise thing to do then? Like, should the Bitcoin developer community kind of recognize their utility and not expose themselves to potential flaws by like pushing unnecessary updates, or should they?
I don't know. That's a good point, dude, because if Bitcoin is not continuously updating, I mean, I feel like it could get left behind. And
what do you mean? Like everyone's gonna jump on to Nano? You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like there's things that it's like maintenance. Anything needs maintenance. I don't think you can leave Bitcoin alone from its original rendition that Satoshi deployed in 2009.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be functioning fine.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, a lot of these updates probably have a lot to do with like future integration into like more like DeFi products, I'm thinking.
Dude, I think so too. Yeah.
Like wrapping Bitcoin and using them as like collateral, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to give Bitcoin these added value later, like that's important.
Yeah, there was a project that collateralizes your Bitcoin and allows you to spend cash instead of your Bitcoin, as long as you obviously pay it back.
Yeah.
which I think that might be the most common way to pay for things like, 50 years from now, where you have like, let's say half a Bitcoin and it's worth, $1 million. And you start collateralizing that half a Bitcoin to pay for your mortgage and all that stuff, and then just pay it back with your income.
Hmm.
But you never spend your asset, which is kind of brilliant if you think about it.
Hmm.
Um, so let's see what we got here. So we have a description here of what a Descriptor wallet is. So in contrast with legacy wallets, Descriptor wallets are designed to support the Bitcoin scripting system through the use of descriptors. Descriptors explicitly give an output script and thus an address, as well as the keys and scripts necessary to sign them. So this essentially means that the Descriptor wallet are a script-based wallet, while the legacy wallets are key-based. So it's hard to really explain exactly what that means, but you're talking about the foundation of how you generate a private key, right? One's generated with a random number, which is the private keys that we're all used to, and another one is generated with a script with a bunch of other information, I'm assuming. So I guess we have two different ways of generating these different Bitcoin wallets now, but that's neither here nor there in terms of the price. It's just something interesting to keep up with.
True.
In other news, introducing Coinbase Asset Hub, or open invitation to asset issuers. So looks like Coinbase is allowing a bunch of issuers of their tokens to plug into Coinbase.
Mm.
And it looks like here that Coinbase's directive is to list every compliant asset possible. So I guess Coinbase's goal is to have every single cryptocurrency in their wallet to be purchased, which of course that plays into their business model, right? But this just makes it easier for anyone who creates a token to plug into Coinbase, and you still have to go through a due diligence process and make sure everything is compliant for them to list it. And potentially our MetaZone coin can be on Coinbase, dude. What do you think?
That's pretty wild, considering Coinbase, like the Coinbase I know and like grew up with, basically, is it just used to be like all it was the only purpose it really served was like a fiat gateway to purchase your Bitcoin or ETH and just
And then move on.
and move on from there. Then
Yeah.
then you immediately transfer that onto like
The real
more,
exchanges.
yeah, the real game of crypto, basically.
Yeah.
So I guess Coinbase is kind of tired of being that, server.
Yeah.
They want everything, right?
Yeah.
They want to be that all-in-one hub where everybody goes to.
Yeah. So now we're on to the most juiciest part of our gathering today. And so this is potentially what could be 120x return if you stuck this long into this discussion here. And we're looking at something called Poolz. So Poolz is doing an IDO, which is an initial DEX offering on January 15th, which is tomorrow, and organizing a public sale at a price at 70 cents with the initial market cap at 448,000, dude.
Yeah, it's incredibly. There's not many opportunities you can get for like a project at that low of a valuation.
Yeah.
And considering the potential it has, because there's competitors out there building on the Polkadot ecosystem, like Polkastarter, right there at the very bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, their market cap is significantly higher than that. So
Just
that's always what you want to do when you invest in some type of token. You want to figure out like what's the potential market range, right? So the best thing to do is to find like the number one competitor in the market, right?
Yeah.
So that's your top end range right there. If you're investing in something that's competing directly with Polkastarter, it's safe to assume,
Yeah, from
the potential valuation is wherever Polkastarter is currently.
Yeah, from 448,000 market cap to 53 million, which is Polkastarter. That's 120x return.
And keep in mind, Polkastarter isn't like some juggernaut platform yet either. Like the whole IDO concept is brand new. A lot of people haven't really caught on to it yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's not being pushed by like something like Binance. IEOs were huge for a while because Binance was the one coming out and really pushing the initial exchange offerings. That's where Matic came from.
That's right. That's true.
That's where a lot of big projects came from.
That's true.
So this is the decentralized version of that essentially. And Poolz I think they have a lot of potential, man. It's a pretty good opportunity. I feel like if you
Yeah,
want to get some kind of exposure to the Polkadot ecosystem and the DeFi space, I mean, definitely something to pay attention to.
yeah, and so there's going to be two listings. It's going to be one for their private investors, and then another one for Uniswap. And the Uniswap drop happens at 5 p.m. UTC. And if you don't know what Poolz is a decentralized swapping protocol for cross-chain auctions of fungible and non-fungible tokens, as well as over-the-counter deals. The core code is optimized for DAO ecosystem, enabling startups and projects owners to bootstrap liquidity for their crypto assets prior to listing. So
yeah, and we're seeing it work with Polkastarter. So there's some proof of concept there. I think Polkastarter has had 7 to 8 to 10 IDOs so far to this point.
yeah,
They're relatively successful. All of them, I think, raise, what they're initially
what they were hoping to
and
raise.
these aren't like huge. These aren't like huge sales. Like traditionally, we're used to seeing like $20 million raised here and there. These people are usually raising 100,000, 200,000. So this to me feels more like a Kickstarter platform.
Yeah.
But so what that signals to me means is there's a lot more upside to these things.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is just an example of what Polkastarter is doing. And do we have how much they raised here? Can we see that? Oh, 42 ETH.
Mm-hmm.
So 42 grand, is that right?
Probably, yeah. And I think this project in particular had 2 separate pools. So I think they raised 42 grand twice. Like one was like a private, like only people who held the Polkastarter, like enough Polkastarter were able to purchase these Nord tokens. And then the other pool was for anybody.
Interesting.
So they raised about 100 grand. You can call it that,
Okay.
Pretty good. That's the starting capital a lot of projects need just to get their projects off the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of it kind of brings like reminiscent memories of like the 2017 ICO boom, right? Where pretty much everything was unproven concepts only on a white paper, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think you're going to see a reemergence of this speculative ecosystem.
Yeah, and potentially much bigger too, because this is on a decentralized exchange, raising funds. So, yeah. So that's without regulation. That's where things get crazy.
Exactly. So it's going to be up to you as an investor to do your due diligence. I mean, Poolz, there's a team. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's not an anon establishment, so at least there's that.
Yeah, we can show.
But as far as like all the future projects that get listed on the Poolz ecosystem, yeah, definitely do your due diligence on that. And,
Yeah, so we're looking
don't
at
take too much risk. Don't over leverage yourself on stuff like this. This is just like the fun part of crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, like you were saying, a Polkadot project. They built their stuff on Moonbeam. And, let me see if I can show the team here. Is that in About Us?
Right there,
oh,
the team.
The team. All right, we got experienced team. We got Guy. Yeah, so check out their website and look at their LinkedIn. And everything looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, like I said, for a $500,000 valuation, there's
potential here.
It's a no-brainer.
And definitely, this is not investment advice. This is more for entertainment. And boys.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But as far as just making comparative, comparisons, I guess, to what's out there, there's projects out there in the $30 and $40 million market cap range with anonymous teams and
that's right,
unaudited code, stuff like that, right? So just use that as your metric as far as like risk. Like if that's your metric of risk, then this is out of the ballpark as far as like no risk at all.
For sure.
Not at all, but very low risk.
Yeah, this is like just managing the risk in this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, that covers everything we want to talk about, and that'll be it for this Captain's Log. Stay tuned for the next video tomorrow potentially, and follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. And thank you guys for watching.
All right. See you later.
All right.